What concerned me was the fact that, and I really want Brandon Coleman to do well. Professor, you know how much I really want him to do well. I've always thought he had the ability and the talent, but everybody has consistently viewed that play over and over again, and most people come up with the analysis that it was a half-hearted attempt at the football. Coach, you wrote that in your article. Barry, what are your thoughts?
On their performance against the Patriots?
No, we could go into that, but Brandon Coleman's attempt at that interception.
I thought Grayson made a bad throw. He did make a half-hearted attempt. I agree, and I'm pretty sure in my article I pretty much wrote the same thing. I don't recall. I want to say it was Josh Katzenstein or Katzenstein. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. The new beat writer for the TownsPicayune.com tweeted that same sentiment. But to me, Grayson makes a bad decision there too. He's basically forcing into double or what appeared to be double coverage on the play. So I think that's one that maybe Grayson shouldn't try to force in there. But it's neither here nor there. I question both. I question both players. I question the throw and I question the effort. So on the other end of the pass. So either way, it was just a bad play. When you're watching it in real time, it almost brings back memories of the old Saints, the quote unquote old Saints that we used to from years ago, because it was very reminiscent of that type of play. So hopefully we don't see any of that, any more of that going forward. I think Grayson said in the post game comments that he accepted blame for that. I never did hear anything from Coleman, so I don't know if Coleman even had any comment about it. But certainly he alligator armed it, I guess. I think that's what I wrote in my article. So hey man, look, he's had a bad camp. He struggled mightily. He has regressed, in my opinion, after having a nice few weeks to end the season last year. He kind of moved up the depth chart, probably was considered the number 3 wide receiver on the depth chart coming into the training camp and OTAs and all that stuff. And he has regressed, in my opinion. He's back to the point he was in 2014 when he ended up getting cut and then re-signed to the practice squad. I'm not sure I don't recall what the practice squad rules are exactly. Maybe coach might know, but I don't know if he can go back to the practice squad right now at this point because he's, in my opinion, he's in jeopardy of not making the final roster if he doesn't get off his butt and have a good performance this Saturday night and then the last 2 preseason games against the Steelers and the Ravens. He needs to turn it up a notch because I'm telling you, these kids behind him are hungry. Tommy Lee Lewis, R.J. Harris, guys like that are hungry, and they're coming hard, man. They're giving it everything they got. And if Coleman ain't careful, he's going to lose his spot.
Yeah. And, I mean, really, we're at a situation with Coleman. Have we seen the end of this project? Is it time for us to turn the page and work with someone else in this particular area? And Professor, talking about turning the page, turning the projects over to someone else, you had a thought about the defensive line. Are we seeing some changes there?
Well, I think you've had a change now that was unexpected with Sheldon Rankins being hurt.
Right.
I mean, I'm very concerned overall with the defense, with the injuries to Sheldon Rankins now. Keenan Lewis questionable where his status is. Stephon Anthony with his ankle. Kika Hagon. I do not feel comfortable about this defense anymore. I felt very optimistic before, but now, and plus Kyle Wilson is gone. Those were 5 key people the Saints were counting on. Of course, injuries are a factor in NFL. But to already, and it being August 17th, to have 5 key players on your defense, that are probably not going to be there at the start of the season. Now, the highlight and the shining spot with this is that these first 4 games is the easiest part of this thing schedule. Unfortunately, this team has shown the propensity over the last 2 years not to win games that they should, or, the Saints have got to get out the gate with a good record, and I don't know how well it's going to be now with the defense being so injury-riddled at this status. We know Stephon Anthony and Rankin will be back, so that's the good news. So I don't know. Other players are going to have to step up. Tyler Davison, who's had a great camp, will probably fill in until Rankin comes back. Bobby Richardson, it's important for him to step up because he's now, and I don't know what is going on with John Jenkins. Nick Fairley has been a little banged up, which is always a problem that Nick has had from his previous team. So there is some questions there, but I did feel very, very pleased with the first quarter. They held New England to just 20 yards and I think 1 first down. And so that was some optimism and some bright spots from there looking at the first teamers in the first quarter. Everything after that, with the run defense being horrendous the way it was in that game, I don't know about the depth, the play of the backups if we have injuries, because it did not look great in that New England game.
Yeah, it did not look great at all. My concern, and I want to go back to you, Coach, talking about the bad technique and some of the bad situations that I observed. What was concerning to me was our number 1 running back, Mark Ingram, fumbles the ball on the first possession, and the way he carried the ball was very loose in going into the middle of the line. Then the next series, right, he carries the ball the same way again and almost got stripped by one of the defensive linemen, or was it the linebacker? Coach, you coach your guys when you were coaching football for many years, right? What would you tell a young man who is holding the ball going into the middle of the lines? Why would he carry the ball with just one hand?
Well, it's a team-wide problem, not just Mark Ingram, but and that was part of the article that I had at Sports NOLA this week, and I had 3 illustrations of Ingram, of Josh Hill, and also Luke McCown just carrying the ball improperly. There's only one right way to carry the football. You have your fingertips over the front end of the football. You have the back end of the football squeezed against your chest with your elbow and your biceps. And then the side of the football is squeezed into your chest with your forearm so that your chest and your forearm are securing the 2 sides. So it's 4 points of pressure. And the ball is carried what we call high and tight, where it's in front of you. It's not on the side of your body. It's up against the chest. And the front end of the football is always higher than the back end. That is the only right way to carry the football. And the Saints right now have a habit, and it's team-wide, of carrying the football improperly. It's obvious that there has not been enough emphasis, and it's more than emphasis. I mean, you could talk about it all you want, but you've got to insist as a coach and as a coaching staff that every time somebody carries the football, that they carry the football the right way and that you make it habitual. If it's not done that way every time, then it's telling you that the proper method is not habitual and the players are not being made to carry it the right way enough times, getting enough repetition in exactly the right way to where they don't have to think about it. They do it exactly the right way all the time. If I had a young, and it's happened before, if you leave the ball on the ground back in the day, you didn't play because you weren't worth. There was nothing you could do to make up for leaving the ball on the ground, and put it on the ground 4 times is way too much. And it's fundamental errors like that, once again, that bad football teams do.
Wow. And I was just thinking, Joel Thomas is the running back coach for the New Orleans Saints, and I know this is his first year with the team, but man, just to hold the ball the way Mark Ingram held it, and I saw it before he fumbled the ball, and I was like, man, why would he hold the ball like that? And, but to do it twice, it's disturbing because we have seen Mark Ingram at times in crucial points of games, especially if you look back to that Seattle playoff game, man, when he fumbled the ball going into the middle as well. You got to hold on to the ball the correct way. Put two hands on it or something high and tight, whatever you want to call it, Coach. He has to do it. And he's been in the league long enough to be able to not just cough up the ball like he did. Barry, have you observed anything from the wide receivers in this first preseason game that we may need to take note of?
Oh, well, I'll tell you something good to take note of, which is Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
I mean, man,
yeah, you're right.
Superstar. Look, they said he was NFL ready. That was not an exaggeration because, you hear that coming out the draft, and you hear a lot of scouting reports and, some are a little more flowery than others, trying to raise a kid's draft stock. So when I heard that, I thought, well, okay, we'll see. Well, you know what? He's every bit as good as he's advertised. I mean, just phenomenal player. He honestly put on a show out there. I mean, to tightrope a catch the way he did on that one play, and then to have a guy literally draped all over him and basically still make the catch after he got interfered with was just remarkable. And, man, if that's what we can expect out of a rookie, imagine what he's going to be like 5 years from now, where he's got 5 years worth of NFL experience under his belt. I mean, this kid could be I can't even think of I got to go way back to think of the last time the Saints had a wide receiver that was just that good. Joe Horn was good, but he had some had his issues. Eric Martin from LSU, right. Who of course played with the Saints for the majority of the 80s and early 90s. I guess I would have to think he would be the guy that comes to mind that was just a stud athlete. He wasn't the fastest, but man, he could make he could
Hold on, Barry.
Great catches.
Hold on. You got to think about Wes Chandler, right, Coach?
Yeah, but no, I didn't forget about Wes Chandler, but Wes Chandler just he never really played long enough for the Saints to really have made the impact that he wound up making most of his impact with the San Diego Chargers. So it wasn't that I left him out. It's just that he just really wasn't. He never played long enough for the Saints to make an impact. And Bum Phillips, in the most staggering decision ever, traded him. It was bad enough that he did some of the moves that Bum Phillips made, but to trade an all-pro wide receiver, it was baffling. But no, I didn't forget about Wes, and you're right. He definitely was another guy. But talent-wise, of course, obviously he might be the best receiver the Saints ever had. I think maybe Eric Martin would be a close second, but just thinking as far as the overall impact on the offense, I think Michael Thomas can have that type of impact down the line when he eventually assumes the number one wide receiver role, which I think he will. I think Brandon Cooks is going to, even though Cooks is technically the number one, I think Cooks will kind of eventually assimilate into the number two role, as a deep threat complement to the number one primary wide receiver, which is where I think Michael Thomas will eventually become.
I kind of agree with you. I was thinking of the same thing, that this kid can evolve into what Marcus Colston was for the Saints, and right. Cooks would be the best complement. I think they complement one another, So
yeah.
And having a guy like Snead there, always dependable, a la Lance Moore-esque type of receiver, I think we're developing a pretty good receiving core if we stay healthy, right?
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It could be potentially, I hate to use that word, potentially